From JBS Studios in Greater New York, this is the JBS News Update with Teisha Bader.
I'm Teisha Bader with the JBS News Update for Wednesday, April the 15th, 2020. 3 armed Palestinians crossed the Gaza border fence into Israel this morning and were arrested by Israeli forces. The IDF tweeted, "As the entire world fights coronavirus and while many Israelis celebrate the Jewish holiday of Passover, IDF troops caught 3 terrorists armed with a knife and fire accelerants who crossed the fence into Israel from Gaza." The IDF is not commenting on a report of a strike on a vehicle carrying weapons belonging to terror group Hezbollah in Syria. The airstrike took place this morning close to the Lebanese border. Israel consistently warned Syria against helping the Iranian-backed terror group entrench itself in Syria. The countrywide lockdown in Israel, meanwhile, continues today. It will be lifted early tomorrow morning. These stricter measures were put into place for the end of the Passover holiday. And as we reported to you, Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu and Blue and White Party leader Benny Gantz are expected to meet late tonight after the holiday to try and reach an agreement for an emergency national unity government. Israel's President Reuven Rivlin gave Gantz up until midnight tonight, Israel time, for his mandate to form a coalition. Well, Yom HaShoah, Holocaust Remembrance Day, is less than a week away and will, of course, be marked very differently this year because of the coronavirus pandemic. For example, the March of the Living, where thousands of people from around the world make the solemn and silent just under 2-mile walk from the death camps of Auschwitz to Birkenau in tribute to those who were murdered at the camps, will not take place this year. World Chair Dr. Shmuel Rosenman said it was the first time in 32 years that the march would not go on. But Rosenman said that will not stop us, announcing Never Means Never, a virtual Holocaust remembrance campaign, allowing people around the world to write a personal message on a symbolic plaque that will appear against the backdrop of the infamous former death camp's train tracks. Rosenman said, "Our commitment to the victims and survivors of the Holocaust and to future generations is that we will always be here to remind the world of the most horrific event in the history of humanity and the appalling consequences of racism and anti-Semitism." President Rivlin, by the way, was the first to place his plaque on the site, which read in part, "The nations of the world must stand together, together in the struggle against racism, together in the struggle against anti-Semitism and extremism, together for the protection of democratic values and human dignity. This," he wrote, "is the mission of our time." And a follow-up now to a story we reported to you about earlier this month, a synagogue in Rockville, Maryland, that was vandalized. A swastika and hateful messages were painted on the Tikvat Israel synagogue on March the 28th. And a local resident said to be a Satanist is under arrest. Police say the 28-year-old is also suspected of throwing firebombs at St. Catherine's Labor Roman Catholic Church in Wheaton on April the 8th, and apparently told his girlfriend that he planned on damaging more churches and synagogues. He and his girlfriend were arrested. Although she is out on bail, he faces several charges, including hate crimes. B'nai B'rith International joined forces with the U.S. Consulate General in Milan, Italy, and the United Parcel Service to deliver 27,000 face shields to the Lombardy regional government yesterday, a region particularly hard hit in Italy by the coronavirus, donated by the Brothers Brother Foundation. Undersecretary to the Presidency of the Lombardy Regional Government, Alan Rizzi, said, "This is a concrete gesture of solidarity, which confirms the special friendship between the United States, the Jewish community, and the Lombardy region. A heartfelt thank you," he wrote, "to the B'nai B'rith Association and the UPS Foundation." Jewish-American businessman, engineer, and inventor Dean Kamen secured and facilitated the delivery of some 91,000 pounds of personal protective gear from China aboard a FedEx plane to New Hampshire this past Sunday. The Segway Inventor's actions were hailed by the American Jewish Committee, part of their Be a Mensch campaign. And some glimmers of hope in the treatment of the coronavirus. The first 2 patients in Israel given opaganib, an experimental drug from Israeli biopharmaceutical company Red Hill Biopharma, have shown significant improvement. Red Hill Medical Director Mark L. Levitt said, "Our hope is that the unique mechanism of action of opaganib, with both antiviral and anti-inflammatory activity, will help COVID-19 patients by reducing lung inflammation and thus preventing the disease from progressing to a stage which requires mechanical ventilation." Levitt said the company was committed to expanding the availability of opaganib under compassionate use to hospitals around the world, and that they have already begun its use in 3 major hospitals in Italy, with discussions ongoing in the United States and other countries around the world. And a team of researchers from Israel's research university, the Technion, has developed a new technology called liquid foam therapy, which they say could significantly improve the efficacy of existing drugs for treating acute respiratory distress syndrome, which is the leading cause of mortality in coronavirus patients. Animal testing of the technology has shown promise so far and continues with the hope of soon starting clinical trials. Taking a look now at our programming for tonight on JBS for Wednesday, April the 15th at 7 o'clock. It's from the Aleph Bet. At 7:40, Rabbi Eugene Wernick talks about the Rabbinic Revolution. At 8:30, filmmaker Boaz Yonatan Yaakov talks about his film Redemption on Jewish Cinematheque. At 9 tonight, Mark Golub sits down with the founder and CEO of Israel Is, Eli Biram, and Israel Is field ambassador and IDF Active Reserve Forces Captain Omer Kallo, who discuss how their organization seeks to improve the international perceptions of Israel among young people. At 10:30, a look at Israel in the media with Israeli Consul for Media Affairs in New York, Almog Aligis. And coming up right after this newscast tonight, a new segment of Together During COVID-19, where Mark Golub speaks to Dr. Benjamin Kruskal, an infectious disease physician who is the medical director of the New England Quality Care Alliance and liaison with Tufts Medical Center on aspects of the coronavirus. And a programming note for you for tomorrow morning on the 8th day of Passover. The Hampton Synagogue conducts a Passover Yizkor service where all can say Kaddish for loved ones who are no longer with us. That's at 9 o'clock tomorrow, Thursday morning. And that's the JBS News update for Wednesday, April the 15th, 2020. I'm Teisha Bader. Chag Sameach. Stay healthy. Stay well.